Max Verstappen has officially apologized for the incident over the weekend, which results in a huge grid penalty and a lot of criticism towards the Dutch reigning champion. Basically, during the Spanish Grand Prix, he made a move on George Russell, which was incredibly dangerous and results in a grid penalty. George Russell going as far as to almost suggest that it seemed as if he was trying to crash into him. Max Verstappen was initially quite apprehensive and quite dismissive of the incident post the race, where certain questions were phrased to him in a way that basically suggested that he was driving dirty. Initially, he was quite, as I said, dismissive and didn't really take the bait. However, he has officially posted on his Instagram revealing that the move should not happen. And unfortunately, it was due to frustration and very much looking to move on. But he has conceded that he was basically wrong in that incident. Before we get into it, please do smash like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Right, so this is the incident we are talking to when he basically almost turned into George Russell in that corner right towards the last stage. And, you know, it was not great, and to be honest, and the move was never really there. And I think the frustration of him not having a car quick enough to compete is starting to sort of boil over, really, when it comes to Verstappen so far this season. And I think it's an interesting one because we're seeing him really push the car to the absolute limit. We're seeing very little support coming from his teammate in Yuki Tsunoda and even Liam Lawson before that. And at this stage, he is set to not win anything this season for the first time in, 4 or 5 years. You know, no Drivers' Championship, potentially no Constructors' Championship. And I think a lot of the frustration is starting to show. This is what George Russell had to say after the incident, saying it's a bit of a shame because Max is clearly one of the best drivers in the world. Well, yeah, he's won 4 titles. But maneuvers like that are just totally unnecessary and sort of let him down. It's a shame for all the young kids looking up, aspiring to be Formula One drivers. So as I said, I don't know what he was thinking. In the end, I'm not going to lose sleep over it because I ultimately benefited from those antics. Not like George Russell to take that high horse, as he often does. Look, I think he was right to be frustrated. I think it was a bad move. And again, as you said, it didn't really affect his race in the end. I think he pretty much got as high as he was going to get. But it wasn't a great move. And what I think was really poor was the way that Max was attacked afterwards. We hasn't been able to actually look at it properly. He hasn't been able to sort of reset it. And, you know, that whole, I mean, to ask a move on whether it was intentional, you know, is he trying to basically crash to another driver? I think it's pretty in poor taste. And again, the continued sort of suggestion and to try and create the sort of pantomime villain that is Max Verstappen continues to, I think, let a lot of journalists down, to be honest. I think we try to push a narrative which isn't always there. And he was very, it's an interesting interview where he basically sort of dismissed it and took exception to the way that the reporter asked him. And he basically had to speak about the race rather than just one single moment. So, I mean, he has been chastised for it, to be honest. And, you know, when George Russell came out, he said, okay, I'll bring some tissues next time then. So you can see he was very angry on Sunday, very upset. And emotions are really high, especially after the race. And this is why comments made after the race, for example, immediately in those sort of post-match press conferences and likes like that, or post-race press conferences rather, I think are often very rarely sort of true to what really happened. I think emotions run high. I think drivers say things that in the moment they believe, but maybe they don't have really perspective. And he's then since backed on his tone. So he basically said the safety car restart fueled my frustration, leading to a move that was not right. So he's conceded that the move wasn't right, and I think he had to. And I don't necessarily think this is a big PR thing. He's not someone that really cares about PR. He's not really bothered about what people think of him. He's just there to win, to do his job. You know, he doesn't participate in Drive to Survive, where he can potentially go and control the narrative around him. He's not there trying to go to different, movie premieres, for example, and stuff like that. He is not someone that really cares about his image. You know, I think he's very unapologetically Max, and that's quite divisive in terms of fans. Some people like it, some people don't. But he has conceded that the move. And if we look at the full Instagram post, he says the following. He said, we had an exciting strategy and a good race in Barcelona until the safety car came out. Our tire choice to the end and some moves after the safety car restart fueled my frustration, leading to a move that was not right and shouldn't have happened. I always give everything out there for the team and emotions can run high. You win some together, you lose some together. See you in Montreal. And I think he very much is the type of person that this is not behind him. He really doesn't really care. He's not going to spend a lot of time worrying about this. So I think the main thing is that he has conceded that it was the wrong move, and he's been punished for it, and now we move on. But this is definitely going to add a little bit of an edge to the next race as we go up to Canada, because there's going to be a lot of people waiting to see how he's going to respond. You know, he's obviously not particularly happy with what George Russell said, so it'll be interesting to see if that sort of relationship takes a bit of a toll. I mean, they've previously gone into each other before, so hopefully a little bit of a rivalry, maybe, you know, sort of starting to foster there, far more so now that the cars are quite competitive than it was a couple of years ago where they didn't really touch each other. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. Smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and we'll see you guys all next time on Forever Formula One for more Formula One news and discussion.